Example 5. If frozen lemonade costs 5.5 cents per fluid ounce, then how much would 12.5 cent fluid ounce can of lemonade cost? So we want to figure out the cost of a 12.5 fluid ounce can of frozen lemonade. And what we know is frozen lemonade costs 5.5 cents for every 1 fluid ounce. So we can cross off those units, and what we're left with is cents. And 12.5 times 5.5, well, that comes out to be 12.5 times 5.5 is 68.75 cents. So to the nearest cent, that's going to be about 69 cents. Molly makes $10.50 per hour, except that on Sundays her pay rate is 1.5 times as much. 1 week, Molly worked 32 hours on Tuesday through Saturday and 8 hours on Sunday. So how much money did she earn altogether? So we're going to have to break this up into 2 parts and then figure out her pay for Tuesday through Saturday, figure out her pay on Sunday, then add them together. So let's start with the Tuesday through Saturday where she worked 32 hours. And she makes $10.50 per hour. So again, the per is code word for divide or fraction. So that's $10 for every 1 hour. And I can cross off those hours, so now it becomes 32 times 10.5. And for Sunday, she worked 8 hours. Her base pay is $10.50 per hour. But she has an increase of she gets paid 1.5 times as much. So 1.5 times is the same thing as 3 halves. So I'll multiply by 3 halves. And then figure out those 2 multiplications, then add them together at the end. So on the one hand, we have 32 times 10.5. So that's $336 for Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday is 8 times 10.5 times 3 over 2. She made $126 on Sunday. And if I add those together, 336 plus 126, altogether she made $462. If a car can travel 46 6/10 miles on a gallon of gas, how far would it travel on 6 1/10 gallon of gas? So we start off with 6 1/10 gallons. And we know that the car can travel 46 6/10 miles on 1 gallon. So from there we can cross off gallons, and we're left with 6 1/10 times 46 6/10. We want to round to the nearest tenth. So 6 1/10 times 46 6/10 is 284.26. So that comes out to be 284 3/10 miles. And then example 8. Juanita weighed her baby at the scale at her home and saw that he weighed 12 1/4 pounds. At the doctor's office on the digital scale, the baby weighed 12 45/100 of a pound. So what is the difference in those 2 weights? So the word difference is code for subtraction. So I want to subtract the larger from the smaller. And what I have is I have 12 1/4 and I have 12.45. Simpler if I just write them both in decimals. So 12 1/4, 12 1/4 is 12.25. 12.45. So the larger number is 12.45. Subtract off 12.25, and we're left with 0.2 pounds. So it looks like the difference between those two weights is 0.2 of a pound.